Hey guys, it's Ashley with 3R Sales and Service. We're taking a look at our LANDSLIDE Plus trailer system. This is a 7x16 enclosed trailer. It's got tandem axles, but we have two 5,000-pound axles, giving it a 10,000-pound weight rating. So we're able to put a little bit more equipment in there. Or sometimes that means a larger tank. It just kind of gives us a lot more flexibility. And it's a heavier duty trailer too. So we put the extended tongue on these ones, so you're a little bit further away from the nose of the trailer, giving you more flexibility whenever you're driving. And then, of course, these all come with like the 2 5/16 heavier duty coupler too, whenever you're towing. But this particular system has two 8-gallon pressure washers. So we've got an 8-gallon cold water system, and we've got an 8-gallon hot water system, and then we've got our 11-gallon per minute Softwash system. And then lots of accessories, lots of remotes, lots of add-ons. So it can pretty much do a little bit of everything. This is great for truck washing, commercial cleaning, residential cleaning. You can pretty much do anything with this and the accessories that are included with it. So starting up front, we've got 3 out of the 4 hose reels. We have another one around back. The top hose reel is for our cold water pressure washer. This is holding 200 feet of 3/8 hose. We have 200 feet of 3/8 hose for the hot water pressure washer. The only difference really in these hoses is the color, and that just designates which unit you're using. And then down below we have 100 feet of 3/4 inch inlet hose. This inlet hose is feeding the 325-gallon tank that is on board. All of them are on Titan electric rewind hose reels. So whenever you push this button right over here, it pulls in the hose very quickly. Very easy to get it on there, especially after a long day. You're reeling in all your hoses. It just makes your cleanup process so much faster. We've got the hose guides on here as well. This gives you the ability to pull at more of a 90-degree angle, so it's more beneficial for taking the hose out than it is necessarily for reeling it in. And then we add in the locking connectors on these. Keeps everything in place, tidy, and then it looks nice and professional whenever you're opening it up. If you're on a job site, the customer's there. These hose reels are all corrosion resistant, so they're aluminum. They've got stainless steel manifolds on the high pressure reels, and then we've got our big 1-inch high flow manifold on the bottom reel, and that's to fill the tank as quickly as possible. Down below, you'll see we've got our chemical resistant flooring. This is all glued in flooring. Got lots of trucks going by today. It keeps bleach, any harsh chemicals, water off of the wood of the trailer, extending the life of the trailer. It's always one solid piece, so we don't have any seams or anything where your fluids are going to get down in between. I'm going to go ahead and take over the camera for this next part. It is a little bit more close proximity inside, so we'll pause here for a second, and then we'll go in the trailer and we'll take a look at everything. All right, so we're inside the passenger side doorway, and we can see the cold water pressure washer we got up front here. This is 3,500 PSI, 8 gallon per minute, with our GX690 engine and the big TSF series general pumps. The great thing about this is it's already got your drain hoses installed. This is your drain hose for the oil on your pump and your engine. These all have external unloader valve assemblies. We have our cool bypass hookup here, which is what this yellow hose is. What that does is it allows you to recirculate the water from your pump head to your water tank, keeping that pump nice and cool whenever you are not pulling the trigger. So it's bypassing water through that closed loop system. The green hose at the bottom is our inlet hose. So we've got a nice big 1-inch inlet on these pumps, so we got plenty of water flow to them from the 325-gallon water tank. And then the other black hose is jumping the pressured water over to the hose reels. We use the circuit breakers. You can kind of see on the bottom here on the batteries. Those are to protect the motors on the hose reels or any other electronic accessories that are connected to it. And then the battery, of course, is a bigger Group 24 battery to hold a better charge in order to power these accessories along with the electric start on the engine. The engines do have an hour meter as well, so much easier to keep track of your maintenance on these. All right, so what's connected to this pressure washer? We have a 6-gallon fuel tank, the battery, of course, and then we've also got a soap injector bypass system. So that's what this is over here. That light is on, whenever that light is on, it's drawing soap. Whenever your light is off, it is not drawing soap. And then we have our soap manifold next to it. So this allows you to pull different soaps through the soap injector that's associated with this. So the way that this is set up, we have SH or bleach, surf is for surfactant, soap 2 is just for their secondary soap tank, and dip is actually for this dip hose down below. So this allows us to kind of drop this little dip tube down into any random bucket or gallon of soap that you have that you want to be able to draw through your system. And all you do, right now these are all in the off position, but if you wanted to pull from this one, you just turn that, and then you can, once that arm, I guess, is vertical with the valve, you can pull from whichever soap source you want to. And you can even blend them. So if you want to blend your bleach and surfactant together, you can just kind of crack open the surfactant one a little bit, open up your SH one all the way, and blend it together. And then from your concentrate tanks, your soap injector, which is positioned right here, it's this guy, that'll actually do the blending for you. So a very simple system. You can this will dilute it at maybe a 1:5 ratio or a 1:4 ratio. If you want to cut it back any further, you just cut these back a little bit more. So it's kind of a nice little thing if you want a lot more flexibility with your chemical draws. So we have that set up for our cold water pressure washer. We also have it on the hot water pressure washer assembly. So I'm going to kind of move around. And we're over to the hot water unit. So this is our Hydrotech SS series, 3500 psi, 8 gallon per minute, Honda engine, TSF series pump, all of the same engine pump components. And then we've got 2 fuel tanks on it, one for the diesel fuel for the burner, the other for the gas tank for the engine. Those are both 8 gallon fuel tanks. As far as the controls go, we have temperature control on the hot water unit. You can choose to use this with or without heat. You just turn on and off the burner as needed. The burner does not light unless you have the pressure washer on and water is running through it at high pressure. It will activate. So it's kind of like a safety feature there so that you don't overheat the water when it's not running through it. It comes with a couple nozzles, and then you also get a steam nozzle with that one too, so you can kind of get the heat up to those higher 240, 250 degree temps just by cutting back the water flow a little bit. The hour meter will tell you just the engine hours that have been running on it. There's typically an hour meter on the engine itself as well, but we just have it on the front panel for this one too. The hot water does have a stainless steel frame, and one thing I forgot to mention that we have on both of these units too, that little yellow handle down there, that's our bleeder valve. That allows us to bleed out the air and prime the pump head whenever we're going to start up the system if you had to empty your tank or got any air in that water line, changing a filter or something along those lines. This is then vented through the ceiling, the roof, so that we can get all the exhaust fumes out. And then we do have the exhausts for the engine on both of these systems going through the floor and out to the exterior of the trailer. We do not want anything exhausting inside this trailer so that you can run maximum efficiency, get plenty of oxygen to those engines, to those burners, so that everything runs smoothly. Okay, so now we're behind the hose reels. You can see we have the undercarriage cleaner positioned in here. We fabricate a little bracket to hold that in place so it doesn't move while you're in transit. This undercarriage cleaner is an option that we have available for this package. And how these work, they actually rotate so that you can clean underneath larger vehicles, semi-trailers, buses, city vehicles, that kind of stuff. We do have a smaller one if you plan to do more compact vehicles. And then we have our 325 gallon tank. That green hose on top is where all the water is coming in from the inlet reel. It actually gets filtered before it goes down into the tank. And then on the other side, these are our bypass lines that are circulating back to the tank that I mentioned before. And then on the wall over here, we have our other remote chemical injector bypass for the hot water pressure washer, and then our downstream manifold for the hot water pressure washer. Works the same as the other one did that I explained, and all goes to the same tanks. So you can run both of these systems. You can pull different soaps through your hot water and different soaps with the cold water so that you can run both of them independently. All right. I'm gonna move around to the back of the trailer and then we'll go over the remaining accessories and product that we have in the back. Okay, so from the rear of the trailer, we can get a much better look at the Softwash system, toolbox, transfer pump, all of this stuff. So we'll start on this side here, go over some of the accessories, and then we'll switch over and go over the Softwash system. So on our driver side, we've got an orange toolbox. This has quite a few drawers in it, and it locks, so the drawers will not open while you're in transit. Just enough to kind of put all of your extra smaller accessories, any SDS sheets you want to keep on hand, all of that can stay tucked nice inside there. Then it also gives you, like, there's a little rubber top to this, so it gives you a little workbench area too. We have a transfer pump that's accessible just from the end of the trailer, and then this is just the power switch for it. But what we do here is we've got these couple hoses. One attaches to the incoming side of the pump, one attaches to the outgoing side of the pump, so that you can fill your bleach tank very quickly. We have an antifreeze tank, and we've got a secondary soap tank in there too, just to be able to fill those very quickly from the outside of the trailer, and then just be able to rinse that out real fast and pop all of these accessories right back in place. The dip tube assembly that was on the hot washer soap manifold that I showed you before, this dip tube is actually back here, so it's a little bit more accessible since that is closer to the pressure washer and tank assembly. The dip tube that is right here is actually for the transfer pump, so you can drop this right down into a 55-gallon drum and then be able to quick connect the other end of your transfer hose into it. So just a little bit easier to use that way. We'll switch over to the passenger side, take a look at the Softwash system. So the Softwash system has a Honda engine. It's got the Comet P40 pump, so this is about an 11-gallon per minute system. It is attached to a metering system, so you can change your ratios, and it does have a remote rinse back there as well. And we'll go into a little bit more details on all of that here in a second. Above it, we've got an 18-inch Titan hose reel again, so it's an electric rewind. Press this button, reels it all up. This one's a little bit wider, holds 300 feet of half-inch hose. And then again, we got the locking connectors in there, keep everything looking nice and tidy. With the Softwash system, you can see the remote rinse that's down here. That has two electronic ball valves on it. One that switches your bleach draw over to water, and then the other one actually turns off your surfactant. So whenever you're using your system, you're spraying your solution and you want to switch over to rinse mode, when you press that button, you actually continue getting water from your water line, and then you actually draw water through your bleach line so that it rinses out that line, keeping that its check valve, the metering valve, rinsed out more often and allows for more flow to the pump. So just helps make the system run more efficiently, and then, you know, making sure it's not restricted with water or anything like that. We'll take a second to pause here. We're going to go inside the trailer. We just have to kind of get a little bit closer on some items to go over everything. So we'll step in and go over the rest of the components. Okay, so from the inside of the trailer, we're just behind the Softwash system here. We have our 55-gallon SH tank or bleach tank. Our soap one is our surfactant tank. And then we have a battery behind here for the Softwash system. It's for the electric start on the Softwash engine, and then for the electric rewind hose reel as well. So we have our metering system here, and how this metering system works is we have our water line, where your water is coming in, where your surfactant is coming in, and then where your bleach is coming in. And the nice thing about this, as we get in here nice and close, you can see that when this valve is all the way open, see this number 6, that means you are drawing basically 50% water and 50% bleach. And so you can turn this back a little bit, and that's drawing, you're at 6%, assuming you're using the 12.5% to start. And as you go back, you can draw 3% concentrate, or you can draw 2% concentrate. Those stickers just kind of help you gauge how much bleach you are pulling at this time. And then the surfactant, you just barely have the sucker open. You know, if you just need to draw a little bit for a house wash, or you want a little bit more, you got a really steep roof, you can open it up a little bit more. Sometimes when you're priming it, you got to open it a little, and then you just back it down. So very easy to use, super super convenient compared to the batch mixing systems. All right, move around. Twist here, we have our 30-inch surface cleaner secured. We like to use the eye bolts to hold the tank down so that we can use those to secure the surface cleaner in place. Nice and easy. You've got plenty of room back here to be able to take the surface cleaner in and out. And then the tanks that you weren't able to see from the outside of the trailer. This is our soap number 2 tank that was on the Softwash manifold. And then we've got our winterizing tank here. And then we've got those, we fabricate all these brackets to kind of keep this equipment in place. And we try to use aluminum as much as we can so that it's more corrosion resistant. And then kind of taking a step back and looking at the wall, we paint the inside of the trailers on this particular package. And then we fabricate our own brackets to hold the accessories, especially when they're added. Whenever it's originally purchased, we can kind of customize those to fit your accessories perfectly. So the extended wand is fit in there, it's nice and snug. We've got our additional accessories here, including this little small hook to make sure that the smaller wand stays in place. We have our manifolds. You can kind of see that we went over before. The white paint also keeps it nice and tidy. It's bright in here, easy to add a light, and it just reflects off the walls. You have so much more visibility for your product if it's at night. And then you also can service things a lot easier. And it's white paint. If you need to touch it up, you just grab some glossy white paint and you can touch it up very quickly too. So we try to keep it simple. We try to keep it clean, and we try to keep it looking professional. And we try to give you as much floor space as possible. So you have a little extra room for some buckets back here if you need it. You have plenty of space to move your accessories in and out. And most importantly, it's safe. There's no hoses going across anywhere. There's no trip hazards. When we're securing that floor, we add the aluminum trim to keep everything in place. So it's just a very professional looking, very functional, and very profitable for you to use this type of build, and just kind of really open the door for so many different types of wash applications. But if you have any additional questions, you can see this on our website. It's 3rpressurewashers.com. Again, this is the LANDSLIDE Plus package. If there's anything that you wanted to customize on your own, whether you like this or you want something a little bit different, just give us a call and we can help you out.